serotonin. Is that how you say it?
Serotonin. Dopamine.
Guys, we are in person.
Guys.
We're holding hands.
We're holding hands right now.
I honestly didn't think this day would come for a long time, but here we are 6 months later in person.
I can't believe it.
I think the last in-person episode we did was like in March.
It was.
March. How many months was that? A long ass time.
We were like talking about like the possibility of Corona being like a thing. Well, I was. And you were arguing that it wasn't.
Yeah, the last episode, that was really before shit hit the fan. My battery's dying, so let's do this.
Let's do it.
All right, guys, before we get into it, we want to shout out to Celsius. Thank you for sponsoring this episode. You already know, guys.
Cheers, brother.
We are lovers of Celsius. It is healthy energy. It accelerates your metabolism, and it burns body fat.
You guys know it's why I'm snatched right now. It's why I have gotten anything done the past few months, because I have a Celsius every single day.
She's not kidding.
I'm really not. Like, I post them on my story like every day, and I'm like, I'm really just, I'm putting everyone on.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I'm really doing here. Try one and thank me later.
Honestly. So it's no high fructose corn syrup, no aspartame. Have we figured it out?
No, we haven't figured out
how to say it.
Aspartame.
It's ASPARTAME.
It's like,
let us know.
I think it's like fake, like essentially aspartame is like fake sugar, like what you find in like Coke and Pepsi and stuff like that.
Anyways, no preservatives and no artificial colors or flavors. It has 7 essential vitamins, and it's proven in 6 published university studies. Guys, we could sit here for hours talking about Celsius. We love it. Try it. Link in our description. Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
We're so happy to be here. We have an amazing episode for you guys today with Natalie. She is a friend of mine from high school, actually. And we have stayed in touch through the years and just supported each other on different ventures. But yeah, we kind of grew up in the same little small town, and it's been so cool watching her journey with her business, Whatever Lola. And she hand makes these jewelry pieces, pillows, t-shirts now. She's doing crew necks, and she has gone viral on TikTok a few times. So this episode, we kind of just get into it with her.
She's such a great example of like really taking the leap and like starting that small business. Like she really is like a small business, yet she's out here, she's doing the damn thing, and
she's paying her bills with this business now.
Yeah, and I mean, she's just super inspiring, and it's such a great conversation.
Yeah, and if you guys, like, I know Jess has some business ideas on the back burner right now, but we all have those ideas that come up, and then we have that doubt that pushes it away. So I think this episode is going to be really valuable for those of you who maybe have an idea or had an idea in the past, and you kind of are just too scared to go for it.
And you're not listening to your whispers.
Yeah, listen to your whispers. Oh, we talk about that in the episode. But yeah, I mean, that's it.
Do you have anything to catch up on?
I mean, just life, I'm going to Tampa this weekend to see my OG besties from high school. I'm super excited about that. So literally right after this, I'm driving to Tampa because the commitment is real. I'm really out here fucking
doing it,
making shit happen.
For the brothers.
Any updates for you? Oh, we're in Jess's new apartment.
Yes, guys, we're filming in person in my new apartment. You'd love to see it.
Wow. I mean, we're just like really growing up here.
Who would have thunk?
Who would have thunk it?
Your lashes look so good. I keep looking at them.
Oh my
she
God,
got a lash lift. We both did.
Shout out Amelia, Sculpted Studios.
She's a sweetheart. She's also a listener.
Yeah.
She's great. If you guys are in Miami, please go see her.
She just, got me right real quick. Now I don't have to use my fucking... I'm probably just gonna keep getting lash lifts, dude.
It looks really good on you. I'm gonna be real. Yeah.
You love to hear it.
Yes.
Because why would I consistently be curling my lashes if I can just naturally wake up like this?
Yeah, I get that done every couple of weeks.
Yeah. Oh, before I forget, do we have an app of the week?
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit. Guys, we're in person, so we're all thrown off now. But
I didn't even think about that.
Let's see if we can pull one. You know what? I got it for this this week.
You got this, brother?
Yeah. You know what? It's TikTok. Now is the perfect episode to plug TikTok. I wish they were sponsoring this. They don't fucking need us.
Yeah, no, they don't.
But we really divulge into why we love TikTok in the episode with Natalie, because she uses it as a tool for her small business. But just the app itself, like, we love the culture, we love the community, we've learned things on there, and it's just such a better vibe than Instagram is for me. Like, I get bored on Instagram now. I don't feel so much inspired or entertained on Instagram. Not, got a place in my heart for it and all, and it pays the bills. But yeah, I mean, I think it's cool, and I really hope it doesn't end up getting banned, because I will be very sad. My camera just died, but fuck it, let's run it.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
So if you guys are watching this on YouTube,
we'll be
sorry.
back. We'll be back shortly.
Yeah, because
for the interview.
Yeah, because the driver side. So you know, some little
keep it rolling.
Discrepancies.
No losses, just lessons. Yeah, so love TikTok, TikTok University. We're here for it, and I hope it doesn't get banned. That's what I was saying. I hope our fucking Cheeto over president doesn't fucking. God, as if I needed another reason to fucking hate Trump. Honestly, like, come on. Honestly. At least give us TikTok. That's the least you can fucking do. Mm-hmm. We won't divulge into that. But
right now.
Amazon, yeah, exactly. Amazon must-haves. Let's get it.
Let's get it, brother.
Okay, it's mine this time.
Yeah, it is. I'm sorry, I have zero value.
Honestly,
in this intro. What are you gonna say, you bitch? Fuck you.
I was gonna say, you're not wrong, but you're so valuable.
Amazon must-have.
Yes. Amazon must-have is, it kind of sounds stupid, but like, I fucking love it. I think it was $8. It is my dishwasher magnet that says clean.
Have we said that?
No, I haven't said it yet.
Oh, okay.
I swear. I've been waiting to say it because I love it. It says clean.
Guys, let us know.
And it's green. We definitely have it. It's green, and then you swipe it, and it's dirty, and it's red. And it's just like, it's cute. I like it. I know if my dishes are clean or dirty.
I think so. The issue with that is that you actually have to use it.
You actually have to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to train your brain to actually flip it.
Yeah.
But once you do, it's pretty helpful. And I like how it slides.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just nice. It's what do they call it?
Satisfying.
Satisfying.
Yes.
It is. And I used to have I made one when I was little, and it was like this, I Sharpied on a piece of paper and then laminate and put duct tape on it. Not duct tape, shipping tape. And it was cute, but I made it when I was 6, so I had to upgrade,
Oh, the dishwasher thing?
Yeah. And then
What?
the dirty and clean, one was upside down, so you would just flip it.
Flip it.
Oh, man, a fucking innovation that excites.
Ridiculous.
Wow, I'm a fucking entrepreneur at age 7.
Alrighty, well.
Anyways, you got some new tats. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, guys, I got yadded, bro.
Guys, her entire chest is yadded right now.
And you guys can't see because now
It's
the
tragic.
camera has died.
It's so pretty. Yeah, explain what it is.
Yeah,
and what your inspiration is.
So I got my chest tattooed. I got
Because she's a bad bleep.
Addison Rae.
Jessica Martin.
But I got, and it's very dainty. If you guys have seen my hand, it's kind of like a bunch of
it's very similar to the hand.
Yeah, it's kind of like a bunch of little stars.
Is it the same
and
artist
stuff.
who did the chest?
No,
Oh,
it's
different?
not. Yeah. Sorry, hand guy.
Oh, it's okay.
No,
It's okay.
I went to someone else because it's just
She ain't loyal.
It's my chest.
She ain't loyal.
But the lady did such a good job.
Oh,
I got
girl?
I got my sun sign, my moon sign, and my rising sign, along with a little star in the crook of my neck. I don't know.
Crook?
I don't know what that's
It's
called.
where
that little
I
soft
don't even
spot
know.
in-
It's where an Adam's apple would be, but 3 inches below. What do you even
know,
call
that
that?
little
Like a
soft- in
trake?
between-
Trach?
No, in between your collarbones.
It's where people put the freaking tube if they have to breathe out of it.
Is that where they put it?
Yeah, if people, it's a trach. Okay, continue.
Anyways, so I got my signs. And
So pretty.
Really dainty, and I don't know, I like it a lot.
I like
was
it a
kind of
lot,
worried
too.
that I wasn't gonna like it, but
No, it's cute.
and I can so easily cover it
Yeah,
up.
it's so small. I mean, they make such good little tattoo makeup right now.
Yeah.
You could just cover that up in 2 seconds if you
I
wanted
needed
to.
Yeah.
Even for a casting or whatever.
So yeah, that's really my only update.
I mean, we're in a new apartment. I helped her move in. That was fun. I vlogged the whole thing. Oh, guys, I'm gonna plug my YouTube because I need the brothers' support out here.
Hell yeah, brother.
I'm on YouTube. I am doing the damn thing. I put out my first vlog yesterday, and I'm just really out here trying to make it happen. So
Go support Lifestyle Live.
Lifestyle Live. If you're not subscribed already, go ahead and hit that button.
I make plenty of cameos.
Yeah, and then the one with us moving her in is coming out in a few weeks. So that's been exciting and fun. And it's weird trying to get used to long form content because I'm so used to making short stuff. Mm-hmm. But it's fun. I'm enjoying the editing process. It's fun. It's creative.
Yeah.
And yeah, go subscribe.
Hell yeah, brothers.
All right, let's get into it. Get into it with Natalie.
Catch y'all on the flip side.
Oh, if you're not already subscribed to our podcast, hit that button as well too.
Hell yeah, brothers.
Screenshot this.
Put it on your story.
Tag us.
Tag Natalie.
You know the deal.
We'll see you on the flip side.
Let's get it. All right, guys, what is up? We are joined here with Natalie. Thank you so much for coming on. We're so excited.
Yeah.
We're so excited to have you on. For those of you who don't know, well, we'll have already done our intro before this, just so you know. So, but yeah, Natalie and I went to high school together, and we have kept in touch ever since, and just like really supported each other in each other's little journeys and
not little, babe.
New projects.
Big journeys. Big
only. Exactly. New projects and things like that. So, and not to mention, I've had you on the guest list since we started the podcast. So I'm so excited we're making this happen right now.
Yeah, like I told you guys, I listen to your podcast. I am a hardcore fan. I love you guys.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah. One time I shared a story. I was like, I literally feel like I'm listening or like talking with my best friends, because it's just like, you guys come on here and just spill it all out. And I love that.
Yes. And you know what, fun fact too, a podcast that we sometimes listen to, but also just a creator that I really love on YouTube and Instagram, JC Marie. That's Natalie is how I found their podcast. Just so you know. Yeah.
Oh, she was sharing it.
Yeah, she shared what we said, and then now I follow JC on everything. So yeah, it's all connected. Okay, so let's get right into it. I guess just introduce yourself to our audience, to the brothers, tell them what you do, and then we'll just start from there.
Yes. All right. Hi guys, I'm Nat, and I am a small business owner. I have a business called Whatever Lola. We make handmade jewelry, like a lot of like macrame yarn pieces, and we do like t-shirts with like empowering things on there, designs. A lot of it is through my social media, and I love to do like behind the scenes, kind of getting people excited or just motivated to start their own business. Like I love it so much. So the more that I can share and give back and show people what it's really like, that's what really gets me excited. I started off doing content creating on my personal page. So I was working with brands, Honda, shout out to Honda. They follow me on Instagram.
Wow. That's like fucking awesome.
It's a flex.
It's crazy.
It is a flex. Shout out.
Yeah. Cause like they contacted me, cause I was doing content creating for like about 2 years, and it started off with like the trades and, just like posting for, trade. And
we know about that life. We have we have way more bikinis than we'll ever need.
Right? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I have so many random things like chocolate. The guys would send me stuff. I'm like, all right, whatever. But no, like Honda reached out. And so I got to fly to New York City and like stay in this really awesome hotel. And like,
it was like a wild, that's amazing.
Me wondering why Honda hasn't flown me out anywhere.
To draft some email to Honda after the podcast.
Okay, I found your brand, true.
No, like it was crazy. Like, I didn't even have that many followers, like quote unquote, and so like it just kind of goes to show that like anything could happen. Like don't like settle or think that just because you have a certain amount of followers, like you wouldn't be able to do something as crazy as that. So, but yeah, I got to do that, and after a while, I was kind of like I wanted to do something more tangible, like start a community almost like and make products, because I've always been the type of kid that like had the lemonade stand, like sold boats to my
hustler.
Yeah, and like my parents are both small business owners.
Oh, nice! I didn't know that. Oh, well, I know your dad. Another flex. Another TikTok that went viral. Her dad did like all the interior design for Fast and Furious. So that's fun.
Oh, that is so
crazy. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know the movie, but there's like that pink car, and it's like Steve Aoki, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And his sister was like the person that drove it. And so like all these people were like, you got to sit in the car. And like meanwhile, like 7-year-old me was like, I'm sitting in a pink car. Like,
no, not knowing it was iconic.
Yeah. So, and like my parents, or my dad, shout out to my dad because he's probably gonna listen to this, biggest fan. But
hey, Dad.
he did all the interior for the cars and stuff, and like we got to go on set, and like it's just so cool that, you know, because they're a small business as well. They're in North Miami Beach, and you know they just have this warehouse, and they've been doing it for 40 years, and it's like the reason why I initially shared that on my TikTok was kind of like they're a small business. Like, don't ever think that you can't. Because I think a lot of times people are like, oh, these big movie companies might hire someone that's more established
or just huge, like just large, like a big box corporation, or like just things like that.
Yeah, exactly. And so like it was just kind of more not really a flex. I was almost just trying to prove that, like, you know, you can dream big, like things like this can happen to you. And it's just funny, just like not really like the backlash I kind of got on it, but some people were like, oh, it's not really your flex. And I was like, well, I can brag about my family.
It absolutely is. Like, what?
It's so annoying.
Okay, well, yeah, that's a whole other conversation of just like people literally just being awful.
And just like on the topic of TikTok, I mean, I think that there is a really great side to TikTok where people are like super, super empowering. It's like what side you end up on TikTok.
Yeah.
Like that's so important because, and then, you know, you do have to like be cognizant that it is a lot of like younger kids who don't really understand like dynamics.
What the words are that they're saying.
Yeah.
But that's also something that I think is super special is like you have taken obviously like the lessons you've learned from being a content creator and have brought that over into this small business world. So like on TikTok, a few of your TikToks have gone viral and have blown up. And then like I see from that, your business now, you're getting more orders and you're constantly selling out, and you just did what is it, a restock?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's crazy because, I mean, I'll go into kind of the story of how I guess it kind of blew up in a sense so I had this summer job that I was doing since I was like in college. I was working at a theater camp and I was teaching like little kids and stuff. And this summer I was like, it's not really pushing me forward. Like it was paying the bills. Like I had a secure summer job. I've always been like, kind of like you, Olivia. Like I did all the gigs, like the dancing gigs, and you know, I worked bat mitzvahs and bar mitzvahs my whole life.
Just the random shit to make money.
Like I always consider myself the person like that didn't have to get the job, and it kind of sounds like a spoiled brat, but like I just always tried to make it work without having to, you know, do that 9 to 5.
Right.
Which, no offense to anyone who has to do that.
Of course.
Full like respect for all people that do that. But I've always just been trying to like find a way just to have these gigs. And wait, what was I saying?
How it blew up.
Oh, the summer job.
Okay, summer job. Yeah. So I was like, I can't go back to that. I was like, I can't like do that.
Yeah.
And I remember emailing my boss and I was like, I'm sorry, I can't come back this year. Like, I just feeling. I was like, I even told her, I was like, I have something else planned. Like, I was like, I have another job up here in Orlando. Like, I'm not going to go back down to Fort Lauderdale. And I remember like closing my computer and be like, oh shit, like, what did I just do?
Yeah.
Like, I don't have anything lined up.
Yeah.
Like, I had this business and like I was making sales, but it definitely just wasn't where I am now. And so when I did that, like I was just so scared. And this was even before like the whole pandemic. So like when the whole pandemic happened, I was like, oh shit, like now I'm in big trouble. And so I had this like feeling, I don't know why, I just get these like kind of like things that I feel inside that if I can just go for it, like it's meant to be, like it's meant to happen.
Whispers.
I don't know, like,
we call them whispers.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm glad I'm not alone, like not sounding like a crazy person. So I had this thing in me that was like, make a TikTok. And I was like, what? Make a TikTok? Like, really? Like, that's the most, I don't know, like random thing ever. I was just like, sure, whatever. Yeah. Exactly. It's like, people are like, oh, go across the country or like get a new job or something. And mine was like,
it was like, you're sleeping and it's like, make a TikTok.
Exactly.
Literally a whisper.
It was so weird. And I couldn't get it out of me. Like, it was literally like, just, you have to do it. Like, something is telling me like inside that I have to do it. And so that day I literally sat down, wrote out like what I was going to do, like the whole CTV vibes, like, I was like, had to do this, like plan it all out. And I made it. And then after that, like, it just started blowing up. And I feel like it's hard to say like, oh yeah, I just blew up, because some people are like, oh, it takes time, and like it doesn't. But with TikTok,
but not on TikTok, bro. Not on TikTok. And that is we talk about this all the time. It's such a powerful platform, especially right now. And especially if you're utilizing it in the correct way and really taking advantage of like the leverage it can give you. Cause I mean, look at fucking Charlie. Like, it doesn't take time. The girl has 80 million followers in a year. Like, it's just a really powerful tool right now. So for you to like kind of utilize it in that way is so smart.
Yeah. And I think for me, what I've always, thought about when it came to like content creating is something that I've always like stuck with me was, don't just show people what you do, show people how you do it. And it's not necessarily like a tutorial and like, this is how I make my pieces, or this is how I, a tutorial step-by-step type of situation. It's like, no, people really love to see like the day by day stuff that you do. Like, even you guys posting like your little errors with your, podcast or something going wrong. It's like, that's what people like to see. Like, real shit.
They like to see reality.
Yeah.
You're so right. We should be making a TikTok on like a day in the life of a podcaster.
Oh God.
No, seriously, because it's so interesting. Like, I didn't know you guys were using GarageBand, using all this stuff. Like, I don't know anything about that. And
I guess that's what someone shit. We're like practice what we preach.
I'm getting a little whisper right now.
Yeah. Yes. Girl.
Honestly, you're not wrong. And I think one of the most important things about why I think your TikToks have been so successful, and like your page even on TikTok, is I think there's so many people who want so badly to, be their own boss, start their small business, and they have this dream and they're too scared to go for it, which granted, it's scary. Like, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Like, of course we have to like weigh out our risks, especially when it comes to our livelihood and paying bills. But I think so many people, and I'm sure you experienced this before you decided to start the company, are in this like transitional phase where they want to do something, but they're just too scared to take that leap of faith. So I think seeing your behind the scenes and like how it's done and seeing you actually doing it, I think it resonates with people. And
being like, it's not so scary to like, sit there and kind of just like
make it happen
and focus on the work. And like, I think people get really like,
overwhelmed,
paralyzed and overwhelmed with like the idea and the thought of it, rather than just like literally sitting down and doing what you can.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's just necessarily like my personality, because I'm really impatient. Like, when I have this idea, like I just kind of...
You have to act on it.
Yeah, I want to go for it. And I mean, like, the whole connecting with your audience, I think, is important. I think that's like what you should... Instead of using it as like a fear, like, oh, people might judge me, or like I'm scared of like what people think if I come on the stories and say something wrong. It's like, don't use that as like a fear, but use that as something that will make you stand out and make you be different. And that's what you should use to be like different and make you special. So I don't know. I think it's definitely a balance. I don't wake up every single day like I can do everything and everything's amazing and positive. Like, there's definitely times where like I've been learning, and there's been times where like things didn't go the right way, but I mean, you have to start somewhere. Like, everyone starts somewhere.
So. You really do. And that's like, obviously you are a brother, you listen to the show, so you know that we are constantly just telling people like, do it scared. Like, you're never gonna, if you don't approach those things that make you scared and make you uncomfortable, you're never gonna get past that point of, just being complacent in life and work and relationships. It's like, you have to go towards what scares you. Like, this bitch shaved her fucking head. Like, do what scares you,
Exactly. Yeah.
Anyways,
And that's the thing too, like, even with the TikTok and like the whispers that I had, it was just like, I could have been like, oh, well, what if someone judges me, or what if someone thinks like it's dumb or something like that? But literally, like, I kid you not, without this TikTok, I don't know if my business would be this successful and I would be able to do this full time. And now with like COVID and stuff like that, I'm so, so, so thankful that I, did listen to that and did move forward with that.
You Jess is like dying. What is happening right now?
The fucking Celsius just went down
the wrong pipe.
Like,
oh no!
Let me tell you, when Celsius goes down the wrong pipe, that shit burns.
Praying for you, brother.
Oh, okay, all right. Back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so you're so thankful for just the app and how it kind of and it kind of like it's things like that you don't realize it in the moment, but when you look back, it's like fucking serendipity, like,
like everything aligned for you.
Well, yeah, and also like the silver linings within this pandemic. Obviously, it's a horrible, horrible thing, and like, there is a lot of tragedy and suffering with it, but there are, the way to find the positive in all of it is looking at these silver linings and like seeing things like small business blowing up and being able to be your full income and things like that, like that's where you have to find those pockets of positivity to like make light of this just crazy pandemic situation that none of us ever thought we would be in.
Yeah. And I feel like so many people have been like, oh, 2020 is a scratch. And, we haven't done anything. And it's like the only way that 2020 has been a scratch is if the only value you place in your life is in your social life and going out and partying. And I mean, like, I feel like so much, obviously, like you said, you have to look at the silver linings, but I feel like so much has also been accomplished during this time. And, so much has been inspired and like, you just have to look at it, from
in
a
that way.
Perspective.
I agree.
Yeah. I think also too, with like the whole hustle, like the word hustle in general too, it's like, I think that was such a big topic. Like when the pandemic happened was like, don't get caught up in this hustle season. Like you don't have to start a podcast. You don't have to start a YouTube channel. You don't have to do that. And at the same time, I think like that is so true. You definitely like, don't have to do all of that. But for me, I always get this comment. They're like, oh, you're such a hard worker. You're such a hustler. You're such a thing, like all this stuff. And it's like, for me, it's what keeps me sane. It's what keeps me going. And I think it's like the whole thing with like extrovert and like introvert, like it's a balance. Like there's going to be people that use hustle as their way of, being happy and getting those endorphins going. But then there's people that, take time and watch the Kardashians and, watch a reality TV show, and that's their way of like winding down. So I think just like not judging people and like just understanding that everyone's different in that way is like really helpful, especially during the pandemic. Cause I know some people can be like, oh, you've been on your couch all day, or, oh, you're working through it and stuff like that. So
yeah, we did a whole episode on like self-care versus self-sabotage. And that was like kind of a big topic that we talked about, because it's like, it's not one size fits all. It's whatever like works for you. Like for you, your joy in the day is to hustle. So like that might not be the case for someone else, and that's okay. Like that's we're very different people, we've all had different experiences, different things make us happy, different things give us anxiety, like, because I feel that. And I think it is a fine balance, because both of us, I know, are trying to challenge ourselves with like how much value we place in productivity. And because I know, like, when I do good, I feel good. And when I feel good, I do good. But I want to make sure that I'm not placing all my happiness and all my, validity. How would you say, like,
yeah.
Is that the word? Validity.
Sure.
I wouldn't place all my...
Olivia, we are on the same like spelling and like my Instagram, like it's a brand. Like I typo like no other.
Oh yeah,
like,
no.
I go days and people don't tell me, and I'm like,
girl, I say everything wrong.
So loud.
I say everything wrong. I spell everything wrong. But you know what? At this point, I don't get embarrassed of it. Like, yes, I'm not fucking perfect. I spell shit wrong. I don't think it makes me any less of an intelligent person.
Olivia, it's my only
girl.
flaw.
I think you are so intelligent. Like
I am
smart. Reading, going outside. Like I see you, girl.
Yeah,
I just grinding away.
You're like, no, I'm smart. She goes outside.
No, but I mean, like, laying down on your hammock, like, that is a smart ass person. Like, that takes a smart ass person to take time for yourself.
It's so funny you say that, because when I was on my hammock yesterday, I recorded these stories. This is what I called you to ask what that word was for. And then I deleted them because I felt stupid.
What? No, don't. That's,
Dude, that
that's
little
the real
voice.
shit, though. That's the real
That
stuff
little
you
voice.
have to voice.
I know. That little voice in your head, like we preach about it all the time. We still get it because, you know, like you're a part of it is healthy because you have to be your no person too. You have to think about those criticisms as a way to protect yourself, especially when you're putting yourself out there. You know, like you have to run everything through this layer of approval in your head and like what people could think. But it's also like, yeah, like that voice, it's going to hold you back from doing certain things. And like, for example, you doing your TikToks and just getting on stories and talking, like you will always think the worst thing someone can say about it. And then like that, you won't even think about all the great things that people could think about it. Like your brain automatically will just be
it's hardwired to be negative.
Someone could point this out. Someone could think this of me, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if you saw, but like the other day I posted a story and I said, oh, you know, I don't want to come on the stories and talk so much and have all these long stories of me just talking because I don't want to come off as annoying. And literally, like, I was in the shower and I was rethinking that. And I was like, what if someone watched this and was like wanting to do a story like of just talking and saying hello, and then they didn't because I said that come off as annoying. And so I came back on and I was like, listen, if you want to talk on your stories and you want to do whatever the F you want to do, like, do it, girl. And I actually had like another girl come on her stories and tag me and was like, you know, Nat said this and like it really inspired me to get on and like say hello and stuff. So you never know like what you're saying and how other people are like could take that and use that as inspiration to, you know, do something that they were scared to do. So
absolutely. And I think that's such a good reminder, even for us, like just to fuel like the passion and to put yourself out there, because it really does, like, you don't hear as much from the people who you're inspiring than from, you know, the negative comments and things like that. We always say, like, the people who listen to our podcast, there's like a good amount, like we have, like every episode, we have like a good amount of listeners, and like we just don't know who majority of them are because they don't come out and talk to us or tell us that we inspire them or whatever it is.
Yeah, and then like all of a sudden, like we'll either like see one of them like out and they'll be like, oh my God, I listened to your podcast.
It changed my life. It made me quit my job.
Like, what the fuck?
We're like, what? Like, that is so wild to us. So it's hard with social media because you really you can't see the impact you're making on people.
Yeah. You get desensitized to like the impact that your content and other people's content has on you. And that's why it's so important, like who you're following and, you know, the kind of content that you're ingesting, because you know, if it's constantly like negative people or like, you know, like hustle culture or, you know, like productivity culture, and it's like, or girls who make you feel insecure and make you compare yourself, things like that. I have cleaned out my feed so much. And I know that's something we say it all the time. Like, you know, do a digital detox, like go through and unfollow people who don't
and don't feel bad about it.
Yeah, who don't.
It's not personal. You know, it might be a girl that I met on a trip and I loved her and her personality and we vibed, but it's like I don't resonate with the content you post. It's nothing personal. I just don't. It doesn't inspire me, you know. And that I would not be offended if my pictures made someone feel any type of way that was other than positive. Please unfollow me. Like I'm not here to fucking make you feel some type of way, you know.
100%. Yeah, and that's something I struggle with too, because a lot of people, like I said, they message me and they're like, oh, you know, you work so hard, or like, how do you not get tired of doing it? And I never want to like come across as like I hustle all the time and this is all I do, and I want to prove to you that I'm working so hard, and I want to prove to you that, like, I don't know, but I think it's just about a balance. I think,
really
I think too, like I come on and I'm like, literally, I've had a horrible day. Like, look at me. I'm like in my ponytail. Like I have no makeup on. Like, it's okay. And like, it's okay to see both sides. Like, I think sometimes too, when we see someone like working so hard or something like that, we feel like we have to, instead of just acknowledging like, wow, that's really cool what they're doing. But like, look at all the stuff that I've done, or like, look at what I can do.
Right. We just compare. We naturally just compare ourselves.
Yeah. So I think like when it comes back to hustling, like there's so many different ways that you wouldn't even think about that you're doing that are just as equal as what someone else might be doing. But just because they're on a larger scale, or they're, you know, they may have like grown a little bit faster than you have, it doesn't take away from what you've done, you know?
Yeah,
absolutely.
We live in such a like compare culture, and like it's and not to mention, I feel like, you know, even in relationships, like not to mention business, but also relationships, you know, we see people that seemingly have, you know, perfect businesses or perfect relationships, and what we aren't seeing is, you know, the struggles. Like, you know, and we say this all the time, Instagram is a highlight reel. Social media tends to be a highlight reel. And I think that's also why people love TikTok, is because
it's more real.
It's more real, and people tend to be a lot more like
vulnerable.
And I think it's just so important that you cannot compare your low moments or even your high moments to anyone else's, you know, moments on social media.
Yeah.
Everyone's journey is so different.
We're all on a unique journey. You know, like, and there's something that, who is that influencer? Something that stuck with me. It really stuck with me. That girl, Annie, the travel influencer. Aggie.
I'll have to look her up.
Aggie. No, yeah, she's a huge travel influencer. She's been in the game for a minute. She's like one of the OG travel girls. And she put on her stories once that was like, don't compare my phase 4 to your phase 1. You know, like I had my phase 1, 2, and 3 before I hit my 4. You can't compare it, you know?
Yeah, that's something I've said too before. It's like, it's like, I'm in my bedroom right now. Like I literally have a 1-bedroom apartment, and like, this is my chapter 1. Yeah. And like, there's so many other things that like I want to do. And like, I feel like a lot of people sometimes when they see on Instagram, like they see I have like this cute background, but like literally, I mean, like this is on my bed.
This is my bed.
Like, don't, like, I know it might seem like, you know, I might be in this other place, but in reality, like it's not. And I think it's like your chapter 1, like I always say, like when I start a book, like I was in my bedroom, like, and a year ago, I wasn't even like making as many sales as I was now. But, you know, like through social media, I like literally give all of it to social media. There's so many different things that you can do that people don't realize that can really move your business forward. And literally some of it's free. Like TikTok's free. Like you can get on TikTok and you can get on Instagram and you can post like whatever you want for free, basically. So back to just like the chapter 1 thing. It's like, yeah, you're right. There's so many different chapters in people's lives, and just don't compare to where you are right now with someone else. So
yeah. And like, you know, we've mentioned how TikTok can be such a tool, but not only is it a tool as a business owner, it's a resource as a student. Like there is
TikTok University.
Honestly, like, and you know, it's like the thought of like how to even ship a product might be overwhelming to someone, and that might be the thing that's making them like not want to do it, because it's just like analysis paralysis, and they just like freeze. And then you go on and you see all these videos of, this is how I ship my packages. This is where I buy my stickers, where I buy my little brochures, you know, this is where I bought my label maker. And there's people who are just willing to share that knowledge,
they
and like
give you the exact product name, where they bought it, and they're like, it's, you know, I thought in like their voiceover will be like, I thought this was so much harder than it was. And then I realized, you know, how easy that it makes it.
And I think that's beautiful too, because it's like, usually it's a small business will be competitive and want to be secretive with their stuff. And what I'm seeing on things like TikTok is like, people are like, here's how I do it. If you want to do it too, like, by all means, like go for it. And I think that's so cool. Instead of being like, you know, keeping it all to yourself and not wanting to share your tips and tricks, you're sharing it with people, and it's inspiring people, and you're not scared of other people's success. And that's so beautiful.
Yeah, thanks. I think that's definitely a reason why I feel like people have kind of gravitated towards my brand, because it's not only just like cute stuff and stuff that I hand make, but it's also like I'm trying to help other people, because when you start a business, you should initially think like, okay, what's the problem that I want to solve? You shouldn't go into like starting a business because you want to make money, you know, like you have to have this, you know, problem that you want to solve. And for me, it was like, you know, growing up, like I wanted to know how to use social media to make money. Like I didn't want to have to go and like do other jobs that I wasn't happy with, because like I was just this creative person and I loved posting. Like I used to do like outfit of the days and stuff like that. So I really used all of that to kind of like build my business. So yeah.
And I think that it's important to mention that, like, you know, we've had an entire podcast on kind of like how we started, like what our journey was. And, you know, we started off by like, you know, posting with brands for free, and then escalated that into, you know, doing it, you know, paid. And from there, you know, we kind of just expanded it. But, you know, and I think that TikTok is so great too. I know like this is like becoming like a fucking TikTok
episode.
But it's cool because people are sharing the information and you can go and find it, rather than like someone messaging you and being like, hey, so I want to start a small business, but I don't know how to do it. And like expecting you to give them, like taking so much time out of your day to be like, hey, this is exactly how I do it. When it's kind of like, well, I figured it out for myself, you know, so can you. But I think that, and I feel like that's kind of like where the discrepancy is. It's like, you know, you want to help people, but you also want to do it in like a way that's not entirely
detrimental to yourself.
Yeah. And like, you don't have to like write out a super long, you know, and how do you answer a question like that in one message too, you know? So I also love that about TikTok, because you can literally just be like, I made a video, and like, for instance, like we made a podcast on it, go listen to the podcast, you know?
I think too, a lot of times, especially when they're younger, because I do have like a younger audience, I guess you could say, but a lot of times people expect like answers. Like I'll get a lot of things that are not even like, hey, how are you? Like
exactly.
Brand. It's just like, where did you get this? Where did you do this? Like, where did you do that? And a lot of times it's hard. It's hard to like want to give that person, like I consider myself a very nice person. Yeah. But at the same time,
wow, I feel heard right now, honestly.
Yeah. Like at the same time, like I've done hours of research. I've done so many trial and errors. So many things have gone wrong. And that's why I think like TikTok, like I'm using that as, you know, a behind the scenes and showing. And like I said, I don't do a step-by-step tutorial on how I make my products. I do very generalized business tips, you know, like things where you can get certain things that you could find on Google, but I just so happen to make them into videos. But I'm not going to sit there every single day and, you know, help someone run their business, because I could charge for that. No offense.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's like, get your money if you're going to be giving out these like really
that value
advice. Yeah, this really good value.
The value that you took years to cultivate and to learn.
Exactly. And I think people feel, and you know, I would like to think that, you know, our listeners aren't like this, but I know that there's people out there like this that are like so entitled. And that's when it starts to really like kind of rub you the wrong way, is when someone, like you said, doesn't say like, hey, how, like the power of, hey, how are you? Like is, you know,
the power of
respecting someone's time and energy,
of when you get a chance, or if you could, or I would so appreciate it. Like, or I don't know,
giving someone an out and being like, hey,
all good.
Like it's so, and you know what, like even when someone like gives you that option to be like, hey, you know what, like I completely understand if you don't, you know, want to divulge this information,
or if you don't have the time.
Like I think that that's so important, because like when, like I said, like it's all about like the entitlement. Like when I start to feel like someone's entitled, like or they feel entitled to like, you know, the information that I've literally taught myself over the past few years, when you said like I could literally charge for this, like oh, you want to learn how to become an influencer?
Here's my link. Here's my link to my mentorship program.
I've literally told people that have slid into my DMs with the bullshit. I've been like, all right, great, consulting call, $200 an hour. Let's run it.
Yeah, it's kind of like I was listening to the OnlyFans podcast last night, and you guys were saying like starting OnlyFans for creative stuff too. It's like people charge for that kind of stuff, and I know it's really hard to hear, especially when you're starting out, because you want to have all the answers, you want to see this like instant growth, and you just want to go there, but it takes time. Like even if I'm saying like, oh, I'm doing all these TikToks and it grew, like editing a TikTok video like takes time. Like
Oh my
I
God.
put a lot of hard, like as
It's
much
so
as
hard.
it's like, it's different than Instagram. Like it's not that as aesthetic, but at the same time, like it does take time to edit. And I had to find the right apps. I had to find like there's even this thing that's going around that's like, if you are a business owner, like you can't use copyrighted music because you're technically selling like a product. Like I could be like, oh, here's these earrings.
Kind of.
So that's something that I had to learn on my own. I just didn't.
Because it's like an ad ultimately.
Actually, I did a TikTok with Finish Line, and I could only use music from like a certain library that they gave me because they were like, this is all we have the rights to.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
exactly.
Yeah. It's like, it's little things like that you don't even think of. It's like, not only does it take time, but it takes experience. It takes trial and error. Like we need to kind of understand, I think as a society, we all want this immediate gratification, this clear path. And that is just not like how it works. You know, anything that's worth anything is going to be difficult to get there.
And it also like shapes you as a person too.
Absolutely.
Just to talk about like life skills, like anything handed to you in life, like I don't know. Anytime that I've been handed something, I just don't feel as good as when I make something I took time to do.
You figured it out yourself. Totally.
Yeah,
go ahead.
No, I'm just saying like it feels so good. Like there's some times where I'll see, you know, other people will send me accounts. They're like, oh my God, they're copying you, or oh my God, they're doing something exactly like you. And like, yeah, it does bother me. But at the same time, like I think in myself, like I look deep down inside of me and I'm like, you came up with these ideas. Like you didn't copy other people. Like imagine how you're feeling right now. Like, I don't know how that other person is feeling, but think about how, you know, proud of you, like proud of yourself you are. You know what I mean? So
yeah, like you created that. And I think that's such an underrated feeling. Like, the fear is so hard to overcome, but like once you get past that and like, it's character building. And
it's confidence too. I mean, all of those trials and errors, you know, like I think about literally like there's times where I've started a new job and it's felt so overwhelming. Like when we like had 5 to 9s. When we had 9 to 5s, you know, like we would be in the middle of training and I would be like, how am I going to learn all of this? And then I would think of the times before where I had like learned something within a month and then had the hang of it. So it's like all of those times that you feel like you can't get past that hurdle or you're super confused and then you figure it out and then you do it and you succeed. Each of those little wins builds up your confidence for what your next challenge is, you know, because you just, you think of those times and you're like, well, I did this, this, and this, and I figured it out, didn't I? So I'll be able to figure this out too.
And it kind of gives you that like almost like tough skin that you really need, because I think this is a question I get a lot. It's like, oh, how do you deal with like the hardships and stuff? And it's like, because I've been able to do everything myself and I've experienced those times where I like cried because something went wrong or like, you know, almost gave up because something went wrong, but I kept going. And so that's, you know, that builds that almost like tough skin.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah. And there's a saying and it's like, rise quick, fall quick, you know, something to that effect.
Yeah.
And not to say that, you know, someone that blows up very quickly is also going to fail, but there's so much beauty and strength built in the struggle. In the struggle. There's beauty in the struggle, ugliness in the success.
Yes, girl. Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's, you know, very underrated. And I think a lot of people see, you know, point A to point B.
I think that's the word.
What?
Underrated.
Yes, we found the word.
I called her yesterday. I FaceTimed her to figure out this word. Yeah, but the word I was looking for was underrated. Oh, hell yeah, brother. We were on FaceTime for 10 minutes and we could not figure it out.
I'm asking everyone on set.
I'm Googling like for 10 minutes.
I send a voice
literally me.
On and Ashley.
It's just like, you know, your brain just blinks. I was just looking for that one word. And also I think it's hard because, you know, obviously we talk about this a lot too, is like when you put yourself out there as a creator or as an influencer, as a small business owner, you are definitely opening the door for criticism. And I know we have briefly talked about this through DM of just like being perfectionist and putting so much like, especially when you put so much love into something like a product, like a handmade product, I can only imagine how how just like hurtful it is when someone has something not nice to say about it. But there are just people out there who are just awful people and just like I take that back. Not awful people.
There's awful people out there. For sure.
I try to be less judgmental, you know, like people are awful for a reason, like something happened to them and made them that way. But people are very quick to just judge or spew negativity or leave a hurtful, hateful comment and criticize without even thinking about how it's going to affect the business owner or just the person on the other end of the receiving comment or hate. And I know you have kind of dealt with that a little bit. So I just want to hear you talk about that.
No, yeah, I've definitely dealt with it in a few ways. Like, I mean, one example that just comes off the top of my head is I got an email. I mean, I've never had any issues with my products, you know, like there's never been like damage or someone messaged me saying like, oh, I hate it. Like, because I definitely have like affordable products.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's always been really great feedback, but I did get an email saying like, oh, I bought an earring from your company or whatever. And when it came, it didn't really like match the picture, like the color wise. And when it comes to online shopping, I think something that we all have to realize is that like, there's going to be filters and there's going to be like screen differences. And
she's like, it wasn't glittering with a filter on it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not glittering in real life. Where's the shimmer?
And me being like the people pleaser that I am, I was like so distraught. I was like, oh my God, the company's ruined. Like no one's going to see it the same. Like she's going to go tell all her friends that I'm like, you know, false advertising or something. And I had to like take a deep breath and be like, this is one person. And they were nice about it too. You know, like they weren't like, oh, I want a refund and stuff like that. But it really drove me to like my next restock. I bought, you know, a big backdrop and I did not use filters. I just used nice lighting. And I was like, it was kind of not like a slap in the face, but it was more of like a
learning lesson.
Yeah. Like, here's what I can do. And like, if I want to use that like negative comment and use it to propel me to do something better and like improve my business, like it's all a learning process. And
no losses, just lessons.
And I think it's also really nice that she emailed you or, you know,
instead
that
of
person
commented.
Because I have a good friend, Tierney. She owns a little jewelry store as well. Metier Essentials. And she's super young. I think she's like 19. She's in college and she started this like gold-filled jewelry business. And I guess like an influencer like bought some of her pieces and
put it on her story, like put her on blast.
And since they're gold-filled, you know, you have to be careful with them because they will tarnish at some point, but they're supposed to like last longer. And she had since already like changed manufacturers because she realized that it wasn't the quality that she had wanted. But regardless, instead of reaching out to her, this influencer with, you know, like 100,000 followers roasted her on her story and was like, guys, you know, I just want to be transparent with you about these brands. Like I bought this and I'm super disappointed. And the girl was like receiving a ton of hate and she had to go on her story and be like, hey guys, I'm already aware of this issue. This is why I changed manufacturers, you know, a couple months ago and whatever. But it's just like, I think it's just nice that like you have
someone did it privately.
Not to mention that like these are small businesses with one person that is trying to do their best.
You're not trying to put Amazon on blast out here. Like,
you know,
what are you trying to do?
Yeah. And I think it's important to like note that for, you know, people, like we have to have compassion with business owners and like people really are, you know, trying to do their best.
Yeah.
You know? And I think, no, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think it's crazy because like in the world we live in, like there's Amazon that you can literally order something at 9:00 and it'll be shipped to your house at 8 a.m. the next morning. And for me, it's like, I tell people it's like, all right, it's a 2 to 3 week window period. Like I literally make everything by hand. And in the same token, you know, you want to come off as professional and you want to, you know, come off as like, okay, it can get done.
A
like,
serious business.
Yeah, like, please trust me. But in the same token, like you were saying, like, you have to have grace for people, especially like when my products are affordable and I do like handwritten notes and I try to package everything.
Yeah, like you're that's what they're signing up for when they purchase something from you is like that time and effort, not that quick fucking warehouse shipment that comes to you in 24 hours that we're also used to.
And it's so much, and it's also such a better feeling when you receive something from someone who put so much time and effort into it. And I don't, and like your friend or whoever is, I don't think it was like she was out to get or scam people. Like she obviously, it's a learning experience. I know I look back at like my products when I first made them, like they definitely don't look anything like where I am at now. And it's like those people that have bought my products from the beginning, they still come back and they're still like, they're even more proud of me for, you know, changing over time and like evolving. So
it's one thing to like, it's one thing to criticize and another thing to have constructive
criticism.
And like, you know, message someone privately and be like, hey,
just so you know,
because I think that you would want to know that, you know, the quality of your product isn't necessarily lining up to what my expectation was or whatever it may be. I think that's really important.
And it's nice when because you get on your stories a lot and you're very associated with your brand. Like some people, their brand is their brand and you kind of can't figure out who the owner is, or it's not like, you know, noticeable immediately. But I think when you help put a face to the brand the way you do with yours, it helps to humanize a company, you know?
I think that is so important because like, I mean, I even find myself, you know, I'll look at a small brand and it'll be, you know, faceless. And then like just comparing that to, you know, someone who's, you know, very involved, I definitely like have, you know, you have different visions about how they once you have a, you know, a face to the name.
Because you could be imagining a whole team, a whole office, and then you could get pissy because you're like, you're a business, like, come on, you have one job, like, why aren't you? But then you see it's run by one person in their bedroom and you're like, take all the time you want. You know, it changes things.
Yeah, I was going to talk about this because I think a lot of people, you know, they want to say like, oh, what's like the biggest growth? Like, how do I get that? And I think it's really putting a face behind your brand. I think, and like my dad, he's just like the best person ever, but he like literally tells me, he's like, I'm so proud that you like go out there, and it's like almost like people are buying it because they want to support you
as a person.
It becomes this community where it's like they want to, you know, make sure that you have food on your table and like stuff like that. So, and with bigger companies, you'll see like that's why they're hiring like you guys are influencers, because you're honest people. Like you go out there and you tell them, you know, what you love and what you're using, and it's like, oh, my favorite influencer is using this. Like that's why I connect with them, because you know Michael Kors isn't going to come on their Instagram story and be like, hey guys, like
that's so true.
I'm selling. So that's why I think, you know, kind of using these examples as like what big companies do and using a smaller influencer can kind of benefit you, but you being the influencer, you being the person,
you have to be your biggest advocate.
Yeah, absolutely. And ambassador for your brand. And obviously it helps that you have this background, one in theater, which you're low key about now, but she is like extremely talented and an amazing singer.
Oh my God,
and dancer. But you know, coming from theater and then going into being an influencer, like you kind of got that. And then CTV, I'll explain what CTV is in the intro. So people aren't like, what the fuck? But yeah, you know, it helps that you do have that background. And same for me, like growing up on camera and, you know, going to castings at 9, like that has 100% helped me.
You know, me getting bullied in high school. I mean, these are all things that were imperative to our girl.
I definitely got bullied. I've had like finstas made about me. Like it's crazy.
No, but what I was saying is just like, you know, that obviously does help because you're already not scared to get in front of your audience and talk to them. So for those who haven't done that and don't have that experience, this is your sign that we're telling you, get on your stories, talk to your audience. People, it doesn't care what you like. People just want to see another human face. Like that's what I'm trying to tell my sister. She's trying to start this like travel van page. And I'm like, you need to go on your stories and talk, and anything, breakfast, dogs, anything, people want to watch it.
And I have to remind myself, I mean, even myself, who I've been doing this for years, like I have to remind myself all the time, like,
to just talk on your stories.
And obviously I don't do anything that feels unnatural or forced, but I do psych myself out sometimes, and I'm like, oh, people don't want to fucking hear about this, or they don't want to see what I'm having for breakfast.
There's a good amount of people who don't, but there are
and that's cool.
Some people who do.
We know how to skip through stories, we do it, but like
tap.
However, the people that do watch, like, so a big thing for me has been like the home decor, and like you know, just the design and the home decor and like refurbishing things, like that's just something that I have a huge passion for. And now that I've been posting it more and more, dude, I get such good feedback. Obviously, you know, from the thousands of people who watch my stories, and not every single one I'm sure is either watching it or responding. But, you know, the few people who do respond and they're like, oh my God, please keep posting this. Like, I absolutely love it. And I'm like, that's all I needed to hear. Like, let's run it. I'm going to be posting for you. And that's
the reassurance. You know, we all need reassurance sometimes. I mean, we say it on the podcast all the time too. It's like, we're out here fucking
reassurance is my love language.
Busting ass. Like, you know, it's nice to know that it's being appreciated and valued.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You'd be so surprised. Sorry, but you'd be so surprised. Like, stories really like drive, like I get more views on my stories than I get on like likes on my
post.
Yeah.
And going back on what you were saying, it's like before I was saying like, oh, maybe you don't want to talk and be annoying on your quote unquote annoying on your stories, but you know, I do a lot of like time lapse, and that's not like that's not like showing close up exactly what I'm doing. It's and people love seeing like organizational things, like seeing like before and after, like clean, tap to clean and stuff like that. So like
I live for that.
Exactly.
I
posted, I'm excited. Yeah.
Yeah. I posted a fucking time lapse of me hanging these frames the other day, and and people like loved it, and it was.
And it's about seeing those opportunities, because I'm just, you know, thinking of the person who wants to be more active and wants to maybe get into influencing or start utilizing social media for their business. It's like, it's not natural to like think, oh, let me record this, but it's about like retraining your brain when you're about to do something and then being like, oh, this is a good opportunity to do a story or to talk about this or do a time lapse or whatever it is.
And I'm sure you're relearning that right now with the
YouTube.
With the blog.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's
a whole other monster.
Whole other monster. And that even is challenging in itself, because I'm so used to like this engagement on Instagram. So to put even more like effort and love and time into these YouTube videos, and then to have them like barely even, you know, I have to just keep constantly reminding myself like, this is a long-term thing, this is a marathon, you know, and just, it's hard not to get discouraged, but like we've been preaching this whole episode, it's like good things take time.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So I think we're good. Let's get into some questions.
Yeah, let's do it.
Natalie asked her audience what questions they had about running a small business and just things like that.
Yeah.
And I know you get questions all the time about this, so I think this will be really cool for your audience.
So whenever some girl slides into your DMs and is like, how do you start a business? Just be like, listen to my podcast.
Yep. Send an episode link.
I will.
So one of your followers asked, what do you do in the slow times in the beginnings? And I think that, I'm sure you can divulge what they mean by that, but I think that a lot of people, like it doesn't take off immediately. And what can you kind of do in the meantime to continue to push that business forward?
Okay. Yeah. So to be completely transparent, when I first started off and I wasn't like necessarily making all these sales, and I was still, you know, considering doing this like full time, I was like embarrassed because I was like, I didn't know, because now it's like, oh, I can show me packaging things, I can show me doing stuff. But like when I wasn't making these sales, I was like, oh, okay, like what am I doing? Like I even like made a family member like not see my stories because I was so embarrassed, because they were like, why don't you just go get a different job? Or like, why don't you go, you know, do something else? Like you're not doing this full time technically. But I think just like letting go of that and just like posting just like random things like we've just been talking about this whole time, is just like showing, like I show my room, or I show like how I decorated, like how I store my tools and stuff like that. And just like different tips that I was doing. And that's why I'm so thankful for TikTok, because it is giving me this outlet to just like create so much content. And then through that was when I was able to make these sales. So just being consistent and having just this like positive mindset of like, right now I might not be making that many sales, but if I'm being consistent and if I'm, you know, constantly posting and working at it every single day, like it will happen. And I know you guys talk about like manifesting a lot, and that's something that I really, really have been getting into lately. So it's like, if you're not, you know, seeing all of this come at once, or you're getting stuck and you're feeling like, oh, it can never happen, like write those goals down, like write the goals down, and then write like how I'm going to get there, you know, the different strategies of like how I'm going to get there. Like for instance, if you're watching like on YouTube, like this little background thing that I had, like it didn't start off like this. Like I didn't have money to go buy all these things, but like in my head, I visioned like, okay, my workspace is going to look like this, or, you know, when I make t-shirt designs, it's going to be like this. So really just like envisioning what you want and not letting that like negativity stop you. Because I think once you just like kind of stop all of that, that's what's holding you back.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
absolutely. So, love. Then we have a question. How did you even know where to start? I think that's huge because I think a lot of people are just like, they want to, but they like don't know even the first step.
What's the first step?
Okay. Well, I think
I know there's a lot. There's like 10 first steps.
Yeah.
She did one TikTok that blew up. That was like a whole page of steps to do to have a small business. And I was like,
yeah, I think like we've talked about research, doing your own research. And maybe it's not necessarily like asking the person that you admire, like, how did you do it? But, you know, following along the people like me who actually show the behind the scenes and show, you know, like how to get there. Because, you know, if you go back and you see, you know, when I first started TikTok, like from now, it's a growth. Like it takes time. Like it takes different steps to do it. And like you were saying, like the whole like video that I did was showing all the different steps. Like you can find those things on Google. You can find how to make an LLC. You can find, you know, how to start a website. You can find, and you don't necessarily have to pay. I know that a lot of people are like, oh, I have to get a business, what's it called? Like a business program,
number.
Or like, no, like a business program. Like I have to sign up and get a business coach and, you know, I have to do all these different things.
Mentoring.
Right. Or like I have to have this business plan and set up all this money and stuff like that. If you guys are listening and you know of Gary Vee, like literally Gary Vee has changed my life. Like he has an audio book. Like, he does these things on YouTube where he will kind of do these podcast episodes where he'll sit down with someone and evaluate their business, which has been super helpful because you can literally learn so much from someone who does something completely different than you, but it's business related.
Absolutely.
So
use guys. The internet is the best thing that could ever happen to our generation. Use it. It is a tool. It will change your life. Like guys, anything you want is at your fingertips. Like
I think the first step is like deciding that you really want it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
committing.
It's committing because like even myself, like I know that like I've wanted to start, you know, different ventures.
She's got a few ideas.
But it's like
waiting.
I haven't like fully committed. And I know that like once I do, that's when I'm going to be like, you know, like you said, like hopping on the YouTube and like figuring it out and stuff like that. And like, I just know that I haven't because I'm not fully committed, which is fine because, you know, I'm still weighing out certain things. But I think the first step is like being like, okay, I'm doing this.
And then going balls to the wall and hitting the ground running. That's kind of how I
figure it out.
Yeah, it's kind of how I felt with the YouTube. Like once in my head, I was committed to starting a YouTube channel.
Once you bought the camera,
it was
game over.
I'm like making thumbnails and finding an editor and editing and fucking buying USB drives and just everything.
Finding inspiration.
Yeah, but there's definitely, you have to make that commitment in your head. Like I'm going to fucking do this. Yeah. No matter how hard it is and how discouraged I may be, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's, sorry, just to say like three things that I think are important. Cause I think it's like finding the heart behind your brand, putting a face to your name or putting a face to your brand, and then consistency. So constantly getting on social media, repurposing content. People don't understand. Like they came out with Reels and I posted a TikTok to my Reels and someone was like, did you just repurpose your TikTok on Reels? I'm like, hell yeah, I did. Like, of course I did. Like, I don't have time to make a full-on second
different channel.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like the same thing, like a different version of the same thing. Like,
exactly. So it's so, and I love what you guys do because you put it on YouTube, you have your podcast, and then you guys do like your little videos on Instagram and stuff. So repurposing your content is so important. And then the last thing is like finding that, I hate the word like targeted audience, but like finding out, okay, who are these people that are gonna actually buy my stuff or like my brand? I know you guys probably do. You probably sit down a lot and think about like, all right, who's listening to my podcast? Like what type of people like, where do they live? Like, absolutely. And it doesn't even have to be like, okay, what they look like or
it's demographics.
Like
Yeah.
Right. But I think also too, like the more specific that you get, I got this from a friend who was talking on Instagram, so I don't take like full credit for this, but she was like, make an avatar type of person, like kind of like an imaginary friend in your head. It's like, what does she like to do? Where does she like to go? And stuff like
What's
that.
her
So
style?
because then she's going to be different from her 5 other friends, but her 5 other friends talk to her. So she's like, I got this really cute sweater. And then at least 2 or 3 of them are going to be like, oh, I love that. And then coming back to your brand. So
yeah. And the power of word of mouth is powerful.
Especially with social media. It's so easy to like, I get like people sharing stuff more than like saving and stuff. So.
Oh yeah, true. They send it to the restaurant. They're like, this is cute. Let's get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next question is, does your creativity ever burn out? Which I think is interesting.
Yeah, I would say so. I think like with anything, there's definitely a time where I'm just like, I don't know if this is like where it's at, or I don't know if like this is something I'm truly passionate about, or if I'm just doing it because I need to, or I need to come out with something. I think a lot of times, like, even just going back on the whole comparison thing, we constantly feel like we need to, come out with the latest thing. I think that's something that I need to work on too, because, I'll come out with a restock and then I'll already be thinking about, what else I need to make. And, what if I need to make that before someone else does or something like that.
Yeah.
It's just like constantly it's almost like a weight on your chest. So really just like, okay, being present in the moment and just like focusing on what you have in front of you and just the creativeness that you have in front of you right here, and not
and knowing that like this moment is like all that we have and all that matters right now,
and that next batch of creativity will come when it's like meant to come.
And that's the thing for me too, is like, I guess the way my brain works is I'm always like, what if I don't have the creative juice to like go forward? And it's like, no, like it'll come, like take a walk.
You just have to
trust yourself.
Yeah. Like I always think like, oh, what if this is my best selling product and then the next product doesn't, be as successful, but it's like every single time, like it's proven me wrong. Like I've come out with different things. So it's just like kind of training your brain to really be like, no, like you're okay. Like,
you're okay. It's kind of how I am with money, low key. Like every time I'm like stressing, it's something fucking happens. And I'm like, see, this is why I don't stress. Cause it happens time and time again. The moment I start stressing, I fucking
100%
get a check in the mail for something I did 2 years ago. I'm like,
and I think that,
thank you, universe.
And I love that you said that, because I'm the same exact way with money.
Like the universe has you. It has you.
But I think I'm really grateful that that's one facet of my life that I've been able to kind of fall into and trust is monetarily. And that's kind of why I push myself out of like my comfort zone with money. Like I get nicer things and I get nicer apartments.
No, we have very different spending habits.
Yes, we do.
It's very whiskey, very water, as you can imagine.
It's because I know, like, I trust in my ability to hustle and make money. I trust in, the universe, like having me.
Providing for you.
And that's one, I want to really apply that to other aspects of my life, including business. And I think what you said is like, oh, what if the next product doesn't sell as well? And I think that even if it didn't, like everything happens for a reason. And like you said, like, you got that email and it kind of pushed you to
be better,
And I mean, you just have to trust that, everything is happening for a reason to put you on a path to your highest and best self.
Yeah. I think when you're an entrepreneur, it's like, you kind of are in that mindset where it's like, okay, money and all these different, it's so unexpected. I know people like would message me before, they'd be like, oh, like, how do you deal with like low months and like high months with sales specifically? And it's just like, it is what it is. Like
you have to accept it.
Game. Like I've told like people, I talked about this on my story one time where I was selling these crew necks and which
I love, by the way. We're going to have to
I got to send you guys some.
We're going to have to cop one of those.
Yes. So I sold these and I only had like, I would say like maybe like 30 or so. And I didn't, cause I didn't really know like this is my first time doing this. Like I didn't know people were into the tie dye, and it sold out within like minutes, and people messaged me and they were like, oh my God, like I wanted it so bad. And like, I didn't get it. Like, please make more. Like, I'm really upset. And at the same time, it's like, I didn't know, like I'm putting so much money into like, I think that's what people don't realize is like, as business owners, you put so much of your own money back into your business with your fingers crossed that, it will sell. So I think just giving people grace with that and giving yourself grace too. It's like, if something doesn't work out, like, hey, the next time you sell a product, it might sell in 10 minutes.
Right.
So
well,
it's like balance.
I love that. Yeah. Going off of the topic of balance, one of the questions is how much of your day is spent making your products? Curious about work/life balance, which is obviously something like our whole show is about fucking balance and life is about balance. So yeah, I'd love to. And I see that you're like constantly like pushing out these products and hand making them. So yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy because a lot of people, they say to me like, oh, you work so hard, or you're like constantly working. Like someone was like, do you ever get lonely like working? And like my boyfriend works from home too, so like we're always together. But it's like, I think it's like a personality thing. And if it's not a personality thing, like it's totally something that you can work on. Like for me, like I work from home, so I can go take a walk. Like I don't like, I give these window periods of like, it's coming between 2 to 3 weeks. So like I expect what's coming and plan out.
You've built your self-care and mental health into that time.
Yeah. And going back to like the hustle thing. It's like, for me, it's like, this is what brings me joy, because if I wasn't doing this, then maybe I would have to be going out and doing that 9-to-5 job, which I know like would not be what I personally want to do. So for me, it's like hustling and waking up early and, maybe spending an extra hour packaging orders is like, that's what makes me happy. But, everyone's different. And I also this is a whole other thing, but I have like a lot of anxiety, and I'm just like type of person that's like, if something cancels, like I'm happy, like stay home in my PJs, like that's good for me. But it's just about like the type of person you are and making sure that, if you are getting lonely or if you are getting stuck, like go outside, like I know there's a pandemic happening, but like you can go for a walk and FaceTime a friend and just doing things that make you happy. And because at the end of the day, like your mental health should go first, and, business does make you money, but if your like mental health is going down the drain, you're not
doesn't matter how much
energy.
Doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank account if you're fucking depressed. I love that. That's again something we preach all the time, something we try to apply to the podcast is like, there was a time where we're overworking ourselves with the podcast, and we were like, bro, we're making this not fun for ourselves. Like we need to cut back mentally, energetically, like physically, like with time wise, and just cut back, scale this thing back to figure out like, let's make it fun again for us, because that is the whole point. Like that's why we're doing this.
And even just kind of, although I don't feel like even we did change a few things up, but even just like having that honest conversation with ourselves and being like, fuck, like we're burning out in this aspect. Like I feel like we've been able to bounce back.
Oh my God. This has been the best season yet, because we were like, let's just not fucking kill ourselves over this.
Like we can breathe.
Yeah, it is what it is. Just kind of giving ourselves grace, like everything you've been saying. It's we learned that lesson. Thank you so much. This was such an awesome conversation. I think our audience is going to super love it and find so much value in it.
Yeah, I'm so I can't wait for having you on.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm really excited to share with everyone, because it is like that whole thing where it's like I do get a lot of questions and stuff, and it's kind of overwhelming sometimes to answer so many different things. So I'm definitely going to be sharing the heck out of this, and getting you guys hopefully some new whatever Lola customers. And
Lola Brothers.
Yeah, so if people want to, Lola Brothers, if people want to find you, where can they find your personal, your business, whatever it may be?
Okay, so on TikTok and Instagram, it's whatever Lola, and instead of like an ER, it's a VA, Lola. And TikTok and Instagram.
Cool. Awesome. Guys, we hope you
and the website.
Yes, go.
Yeah. Just whateverlola.com.
Oh, okay. I was like, plug it. All right, cool. Guys, happy Monday. We hope this episode inspired you, motivated you. Fucking go out and get it.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
We love you guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.